कोई है ऑनलाइन तो देख सकते हैं। अर्पण इज देयर? तो है तो ये
Arpan, you will be presenting remote. I will be able to give you the presentation rights. Okay, we can try that after the mother. So we will try.
So first two verses are together, then others.
चक्षुना संगरो साधु।
गुरु जी भी कोट करते हैं ना अपने उसमें प्रवचनों में। पाठ के
चक्षुना संगरो साधु, साधु श्रुतेन संगरो, ध्यानेन संगरो साधु, साधु जिह्वाय संगरो, कायेन संगरो साधु, साधु वाचाय संगरो, मनसा संगरो साधु, साधु संपत् संगरो, संपत् संगरो भिक्षु, सब दुखा समुच्चयति।
तो चक्षु का संवर करना अच्छी बात है, लेकिन ये तो क्लियर है। श्रोत का, जो आँख का, कान का, टेस्ट स्मेल का, जीवा का, इस पे रेस्ट्रेंट करना, काया पे, वचन पे, मन पे, और सबसे अच्छा है सब बात का संवर, जो सब पे संवर करना, हर एक इंद्रियों पे संवर करना अच्छी बात है। और जो भिक्षु सभी इंद्रियों के संवर्त करता है वो सभी दुख से छूट जाता है। That is meaning of this first two verses of this new Varga, Bhikkhu Varga. And the story is about a very strange kind of thing you may find. 5 monks were practicing restraint over one of the senses, and then they started quarreling कि मेरी restraint ज़्यादा अच्छा है तुम्हारे से। है ना अमेजिंग? तो बाद में डिसाइड नहीं कर पाए तो फिर भगवान बुद्ध के पास गए कि हमारे में से अच्छा कौन है ये बता दो। you can see the understanding level at which they must be working. चलिए नेक्स्ट थर्ड वर्ड तो इसी तरह से ही है.
अथासा
अर्थ
अथ
संयतो, संवर्ग की जगह संयतो है, सेम चीज है लेकिन संयत.
संयतो पादा संयतो वाचा संयतो संयुक्त
उत्तम
उत्तमो अज्जातारसतो समाहितो एको संतुषितो तमाहु भिक्षु.
हाँ, तमाहु भिक्षु मतलब उसको भिक्षु कहते हैं. इसमें डेफिनेशन है भिक्षु की. क्या है उसके भिक्षु की? हथ संयतो, जो हाथ पे जिसका संयम है. वाच संयम, पाद पे पांव पे संयम है. वाणी पे संयम है, जो कि बहुत अच्छी चीज है. और अज्जत करो समाहित हो, जो अपने अंदर ही भीतर ही समाहित रहता है, अंदर से प्रसन्न रहता है. एको अकेले रहता है, संतुष्ट रहता है, उसको भिक्षु कहते हैं. So one who has control over his outward body and also on his thoughts, lives in solitude and is contented, he is called a monk. और इसकी कहानी बड़ी स्ट्रेंज है. कैसे लोग भिक्षु बनते थे उस जमाने में. एक भिक्षु था जो पत्थर, बिफोर ही बिकेम मॉन्क, ही वाज गुड इन थ्रोइंग स्टोन. गुलेल होते हैं, गुलेल से फेंक करता. एक बार वो देख रहा था पैसे दोस्तों के साथ, तो एक फ्लाइंग गीज वाज फ्लाइंग. उसने कहा मैं इससे एक आंख से मारूंगा तो दूसरी आंख से मारूंगा. उसने करके दिखा दिया, फेंका और उसकी आंख में गया, दूसरी आंख से निकली. गीज डाइड. उन्होंने कहा क्या किया भाई तुमने? Then he was taken to the Buddha and then he told them, you don't need to do all these things. You need to have control on your hands and feet and things. And practice restraint is very important. The next is, I'll read it for you. Yo mukha sanyato bhikkhu manta bhani anuddhato अत्थं धम्मं च दीपेति मधुरम तस्य भासितम. मधुरम तस्य भासितम मतलब उसका वचन बड़े मीठे होते. किसके? यो मुख संयत हो, जिसका मुख पे संयम मतलब वाणी पे संयम है, जिस भिक्षु का. मंत भानी अनुद्धतो, जो कि बड़ी समझ से बोलता है. अनुद्धतो मतलब प्राइड नहीं है. एंड देन अत्थम दीपम च धम्मम च. अत्थम धम्म, धर्म के अर्थ को भी वो दीपे की प्रकाशित करता है. एक्सप्लेन्स द धम्मा प्रॉपरली. सच स्वीट आर द वर्ड्स ऑफ दैट भिक्षु. दैट इज द. तो इसमें भिक्षु की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक दी है, पूरा लंबा है. इट्स अ वेरी लॉन्ग चैप्टर, 20 वर्सेस. So the monk who has control over his mouth, speaks cleverly, is not proud, and explains Dhamma in its proper meaning. Sweet are the words of the bhikkhu. The story is of a monk who abused Sariputta and Moggallana very much and criticized them, and didn't repent it, and then it is said that he became when he went into hell actually, the story says. And वो वहाँ का ट्रेडिशन वही था कि अर्थ फट जाएगी and the person went inside it. So when other monks came to know about it, he said कि then Buddha explained to them that control over one's speech is very, very important. So these are the first 4 verses. All the verses again describe the various attributes of a good bhikkhu. So we'll have remote presentation.
Presentation types given something to the speaker with the audio on the option वो होता है ऑप्शन जो एक्सपर्ट
इधर आ जाओ। कुछ तो है।
So Arpan, we have given you the audio rights. You can enable your microphone. So there is a microphone button on the top.
Menu bar.
On the menu bar, you can press that.
Is it working now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, is that fine?
बाकी भी सुन पा-
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक है. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So are others also able to hear? Arpan,
So this is it.
Silesh, Ram.
Yeah, is typing something I think. हाँ उनको नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है दीपक. I think Ram
Okay.
can't hear.
So another issue.
You know why you set
You're
this
able-
up? Maybe I'll just go ahead and ask Darsav a question. Is that fine?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Darsav, on this
Hello.
matter, centricity. हाँ, it has to do with my repeated falling ill. In fact, the question that I'm going to ask. What I've noticed is that in such times of physical illness, this whole sense restraint and mindfulness sort of gets, in my case, shaken up a little. Well, I think considerably actually. And I'm wondering if there are references to this anywhere in the suttas on, physical condition also when affecting mindfulness. तो बाहिया वाला तो मुझे याद है, but I mean that apart, is there anything on this? Because I notice it all really gets shaken up, खासकर की sense restraint.
I don't know. In fact, many people's experience is the opposite. That in illness they become more mindful. Many people report that way, that when they are ill, they become more mindful. So I don't know what exact reason. I can't really find. तो फिर वही बात हुई कि it's basically the issue of practicing in a. What happens when you are ill? You start worrying about the illness or something?
Worry
I
nahi,
get
but I think in my case what happens is that I let myself go, basically, in inverted commas, so you're not as watchful, and I think maybe it's a issue of simply internal pampering, if I may use that phrase, but I think the general सतर्कता जो होती है वो थोड़ी कम हो जा रही है. This is what I'm now noticing it more. पहले मैंने notice नहीं किया था. इस बार I have noticed it more since the last 2 bouts of flu now.
तो आराम करते हुए भी आदमी लेटे हुए भी तो सजग रह ही सकता है. Are you expecting that you will sit again straight and meditate in the same manner? ऐसा तो नहीं.
I don't think the issue is of sitting meditation का issue नहीं है, but जो एक जिसको मैं सतर्कता कह रहा हूँ, I think वो in general is something that's down. And my own analysis is that it's really a question of my permitting myself to just flow rather than typically जो one keeps a watch, you know, कि क्या हो रहा है. That's my sense, and I'm just wondering if there is anything on this. That's all.
I can't figure out really. I can't figure out. I don't know, by watch do you mean कि चौकीदार की तरह watch करोगे or you, because when you say I allow it to flow, I found that was a good thing to do.
हाँ, that's how, yeah, allow to flow meaning जो sense वाले हैं मामले, you know, thoughts and so on and so forth, उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ.
Whatever is happening, but ये one is aware कि क्या हो क्या रहा है. नहीं? Is that so? Well, it does not need any effort to be aware कि क्या हो रहा है. Does it?
I think what I'm saying is that in these times I'm more caught up with the story rather than being able to watch the story. I think that's what I'm saying really.
Which story?
जो mental story चल रही है तो.
क्या है वो? बार-बार बीमार क्यों हो रहा हूँ? Is that the story?
It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be anything.
Probe into the story and cut it out. If there is any persistent story, you better probe into it and cut it out.
Right.
Is it said? I mean, you'll have to tell us now. If it is shareable, you can tell.
I haven't thought about it that way कि कुछ बार उठ रहा है. I don't think it's really that. I think it's more a general. It's more a trend that in a state like this, one allows, you know, the chatter to go on. I mean, the chatter always goes on, but typically you're able to catch that chatter, and in such a state, I think that ability, if one may call it that, to catch it is what's down. You know, that's what I'm noticing. So that's all.
So there's a comment from Ram. My thoughts, 2 cents on this. I understand there are some examples like Garimananda Sutta, where someone is ill and reading of suttas re-energizes them. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is. There are suttas, you're right, and those are where the suttas motivate a person to come out of the illness actually. So whether the person when he is ill is losing mindfulness, I don't know. That is not mentioned there apparently, but certainly it will help in terms of if one has a devotion to that kind. That is the important thing. If one has that kind of devotion, then it will help, and a great understanding what it is saying. So that needs a very strong devotion for those Girimananda Sutta and other Bhujanga Sutta and all. You can do a lot of good. So you can try it out. But I don't know. That depends really on which of the Vipadas is strong. If you have a good, strong devotion, then those things can help. But on the inability to be mindful, senior meditator is something. I think then there must be some issues. You know, normally what I remember in the past used to happen, I was very intensely involved in any activity, then the problem will not be that I am ill. Problem will be that I am not able to fulfill my duty, or I am not able to fulfill my commitment, or that the things will not happen according to the plan. My plans have gone awry. So those things used to become prominent. So I don't know whether it is true in your case. You can verify that. So if one has a very strong certain targets, or the targets not fulfilling the targets can have quote unquote serious implications. Then one gets really concerned. But if you take it in this slide, this will make sense. That is a soften the ego. At least this is what I felt. Remember, there was a few times during my working life, 1 or 2 times, and there were the targets of the institution, examinations, exams. So I had to take help of it. This is probably all the time I might be taking help in that sort of thing. तो थोड़ा वो हर्ट होती है, ईगो हर्ट हो जाती है. तो मुझे लगा ठीक है ये भी चलने दो. तो आप भी देख लो what is where exactly is it. It is a point worth investigating. So investigate and try to find out.
Yeah.
There is something which is weighing very heavily on the mind. कि मैं बार-बार हो रहा हूँ, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्यों हो रहा है, मेरे ऑफिस में काम मेरा पीछे छूट जाएगा, वैसे ही मेरा काम पीछे रहता है, अब और हो जाएगा. This kind of worries you get. Is that the reason that you get lost in the thinking? So you get into the root of the practicality की भी root में जाना चाहिए. And practicality को भी we should analyze it in a way.
Yeah.
So I think you can reflect on it and see. Maybe something will emerge.
Yeah. I think there might be certainly one strong sense of ego. As you say, this thought crosses my mind about my own notion of my physical strength and well-being, and perhaps that being knocked frequently, and this happens with me quite frequently. This flu type stuff. It's a regular occurrence, and I think it kind of maybe almost militates against the self view and the self image. So that's certainly something that crosses my mind, and I think that's a good opportunity to help break down the self image. So वो ज़रूर मुझे ख्याल आता है. That's something that crosses my mind.
Good. So investigate more, and I think you'll find. And that doesn't mean that you don't take care of your body.
Sorry, that doesn't mean that you don't take.
So again and again with this kind of cold and other, you better consult some with the Ayurvedic physician and get a immunity boosting medicine or something of that kind. There are some in Ayurveda they call it rasayan, which are basically some herbs to boost the immunity. किसी से मिल लो ताकि जो शरीर का धर्म है उसके प्रति भी उसकी सेवा भी करती चाहिए ना, अपने शरीर की भी, दूसरों की तो करते ही हो, अपने की भी कर लो.
Sure, yeah.
मानते हैं ना, इसीलिए प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है.
सॉरी डॉक्टर साहब, क्या कहा आपने? हम कैसे प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है?
शरीर को हम अपना मानते हैं ना, तो इसलिए भी तो ठीक है देख लेंगे, बट अगर हमारा भाई बीमार हो तो उसकी बहुत ख्याल करेंगे. तो जैसे ये समझ लो कि भाई बीमार है और दूसरा में बार बार बीमार हो रहा है, तो जो उसको एडवाइस दोगे ना वो अपने लिए अप्लाई कर लो.
Yeah, yeah.
So today itself you go to some good Ayurvedic physician, consult him, tell him this concern of yours and transfer your concern to him. Because he is an expert, वो कुछ करेगा. What can I do?
ठीक है सर, ठीक है. Okay.
Sir, I also remember it being said that trying to listen to teachings like Bhujanga Sutta can help, especially if someone is a good meditator and can meditate when with the person who is ill.
Yeah, no, listening to suttas will help. My experience also says. If you listen to Girimananda Sutta, Bhojanga Sutta, and understand what is being said, meditate during the process, whatever extent you can, then it will. So try it out. If the suttas and Pali doesn't work with you, then just remember. Read the English translation while meditating. They are available on that. So you can lie down and meditate and reflect from them.
Yeah, that's something that actually has been a good outcome of the illness. That actually, while lying and while all the affliction, the fever, whatever else is coursing through, there has been practice. I think in my case, for the first time, of trying to, in inverted commas, meditate while lying. I think that's happened this time. So that's been a new experience.
Good. Yeah, we should practice meditation in all the postures possible. I think that must be the reason Buddha advises, sitting, standing, walking, lying down.
There was an interesting thing, and it's a digression. एक निसर्ग दत्त महाराज का कल मैंने कोट पढ़ा या कोई क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन पढ़ा इंसिडेंटली, which also talks about him. So the questioner asks him, what do you do while you are sleeping? उसका वो जवाब देते हैं that I am aware that I am sleeping, and I found that really I found it interesting. Because I think at least I am far away from that experience, but apparently there is something like that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you heard of this, Darsab? Is there any?
They call it, in the Tibetan tradition, they have a special name for that. They call it in English, I think there is a lucid sleep or lucid dream. When you are dreaming, you are aware that you are dreaming.
That's not deep sleep.
No, that's not deep sleep. ड्रीम के बारे में कहा गया है कि ड्रीम के बारे में किसी हिंदी में that sometimes happens with us also. But with Tibetans, they have some kind of a practice by which they practice lucid dreaming. I heard Dalai Lama.
Whenever such thing, it is only when the sleep is not established. you don't fresh if you are both kind of half asleep.
Maybe I don't know really. I don't know how do they feel. I don't know. So while one is in deep sleep, whether one can be aware, I don't know. Because in Buddha's writing, I have
हाँ मुझे भी वो थोड़ा
this kind of a phrase. Because it is said that mindfully he will lie down and then in that particular posture, lie down and relax for एक पहर जो भी होता है 1.5 घंटा क्या whatever. But he would lie down with the resolution कि एक पहर करना मुझे, then he'll get up. So, what is the state of an enlightened being at that time? I don't know. There's no specific mention of it. I like to figure out. Yes, traditionally तो यही कहा जाता है कि in deep sleep one is not aware. Consciously one is not aware. Subconsciously one is aware. वो तो that is always there.
Ram has a comment. I had a question from Nidhar. He authored a paper some time back comparing approaches of different traditions. One of the key points brought up, which I thought was interesting, was that one should not keep measuring oneself to see if I have improved, because that concerns the eye. My question is there a skillful way to do this so that one can assess if one is making any progress? Or should one not really, not even try to measure one's progress?
We strike a middle path. We don't measure it every day or every week. We see it over a long time. And once we are clear that there is a general reduction in suffering, because that doesn't have to be measured, that becomes manifest in our life. If I feel that I am suffering less in the same circumstance as I was earlier, then I am proceeding in the right path. But basic teaching is suffering, understanding and experiencing end of suffering. So if that is happening, everything else must be going on properly. I think to that extent, I think that's okay. More than that, measuring it in terms of what is the kind of sensation we are feeling, or whether my mind is getting concentrated to 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so those kind of things are really not needed. They create a very strong ego.
Can we say that generally assessing your sense of being peaceful can be used as one of the measures of progress, and other things which we believe leads to peacefulness. For example, one may believe that if I meditate for X hours, I will become peaceful, and then one starts to measure it against that goal. Whether am I able to meditate more, whether am I able to get all those sensations, rather than measuring whether I am actually, more peaceful than my over what had happened in my past versus making me believe that this will bring more peace and then measuring on it like that.
See, my understanding has changed slightly. You know, even there was a time I used to think that if I'm getting upset or reacting on certain issue, it was very. I mean, I used to feel very bad about that. No, I don't. I think okay. So even a loss of equanimity, even a loss of equanimity, I can see, okay, equanimity.
But actually, that is what I was referring to, that if one does that, it brings it brings person to a lot more peacefulness.
Naturally it happens.
Naturally
Then you are
it
not seeking something.
Right. But if one assesses it, that for example, if you say that when you were upset being upset, then overall that the sense of being peaceful was
Yes,
lesser.
yes.
Right.
That is the overall assessment is that suffering is ending.
Right.
So that can end in one, if you take the goal of suffering ending, that I should never lose equanimity, I should never get upset, I should never get
More idealistic.
yeah, so that has a difficulty. And once we accept this fact, that ठीक है, मन भटक भी जाता है कोई बात, तो मन का भटकना बंद है.
So, but eventually we reach where we wanted to reach, which is cessation of suffering.
Yeah, and that is the cessation of suffering, that you accept that mind has a way of working and let it keep on way of working. That's all. So if you are, if you have understood things properly, reflected properly, meditated properly, then I think the general sense of acceptance of what is, I think that is a better way, rather than saying peaceful. वो भी एक थोड़ी peace में भी problem हो जाती है. So you are accepting what is okay. You are not peaceful, okay नहीं है. So that is the situation at this moment. I am not peaceful. Okay. How long? Let us see how long. It will change. Then you don't make issue out of that also.
Right. I think they are just
वो शब्द नहीं सोचता ना कोई
calmness versus peace.
हाँ, शब्द नहीं सोचता. But so acceptance is a simple, I think, appropriate word. Acceptance of what is outside, inside. Okay. It doesn't mean you don't take appropriate action. You accept first. That's okay. So if you say something somebody harshly, then you accept. I have said, the very recognition I have said something harshly would make you to take appropriate corrective action. And that will be much greater satisfying than trying to restrain, मुझे ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए था, मुझे ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था. I find that is a more liberating, because it bursts the ego, self-image टूटती है उससे. कि हाँ मैं तो बिल्कुल परफेक्ट हो गया था, अब तो परफेक्ट रहा नहीं. You understand, there is no one who is here perfect and no one who is not perfect. कह दिया तो कह दिया, जो ठीक लगा उस समय कह दिया. अगर लगता है कि किसी को हर्ट हो गया, okay, sorry, go and explain. I didn't mean to expert. Seek forgiveness, do whatever is needed, but why create a big issue out of it? Because the issues when we create, it's always ego which is getting strengthened. Ego of being a good meditator, of being a good person, of being something. So I find to the extent you are able to shut it off, to that extent you are. It doesn't create any residue, it doesn't leave a residue. Otherwise the residue रह जाता है. तो भगवान ने कहा ना अशेष विराग निरोध, अशेष होना चाहिए, without remainder. There should be no remainder, like the residue left. No, those words are very powerful. We take ashesh meaning as ending completely, but I think that is the more appropriate meaning.
Ram, does that answer your question, or
Anything else?
you have any other comment on this?
Yes, thanks.
बीच में दीपक दिलाने भी आ गए थे।
नहीं सर, मैंने वो
टाइप किया
मैं बोला था कि तो इको आ रही थी तो
एक्चुअली वो
गौरव भाई अर्पण
एक हार्ट बहुत परेशान हो रहा है, उसने संदेश भेजा है।
भैया डिस्कवरी ऑफ इनर स्पेस।
वो सोच रहा था कि इस बार मैं फिजिकली नहीं हूं तो शायद कुछ गाड़ी बेहतर चलेगी, बट it's been discovered that there are other disruptionists other than myself as well. So what we were last time on slide 5. That's where we'd left it off, and I'll do a very quick summary. Mainly in this chapter, he's brought out those 3 what I like to call guru mantras.
Quickly scan through all the slides.
Arpan, you can use the buttons at the bottom of the slide to go up and down, because you have presentation rights.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it.
You can
Yeah.
start from number 1 quickly, so that that's it.
That's up.
And then
बेचारा एक हाथ
this.
फिर रह जाएगा, इस बार फिर से रह जाएगा।
No, you don't have to speak about it. Just show it.
Yeah. So
Just
so the chapter is
and then go further.
Sure. So the way I have understood and absorbed this chapter is, as I said, with respect to certain guru mantras for and here they are: non-attachment, non-resistance, and non-judgment. ये 3 मुख्य बातें इसमें इन्होंने निकाली हैं. And I think what I found very useful again through the week, I went through the chapter a little bit again, is कि ये जो phrases हैं ये ज़्यादा असल में मदद करते हैं in day-to-day life situations rather than the words of non-judgment etc. खासकर कि मे बी वाला मैंने बहुत इस हफ्ते इस्तेमाल किया. कई घटनाएं घटी जहाँ पे मुझे ये मे बी बहुत काम आया, स्पेशली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू इसी now there is a very what should I say, there are incongruous situations that develop. The way in work life, the way I am viewing many things that are happening, many circumstances, the way I am approaching situations, I try and obviously do it from this perspective, ये धम्मा perspective जिसको हम कहते हैं. अब होता ये है कि जो साथी हैं वो ऑब्वियसली अलग अलग जगहों पर हैं अपने माइंड में और अपने जीवन में. तो खास करके ये मे बी वाले में इस हफ्ते थोड़ी आई वुडंट से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट उठी है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इज अ रॉन्ग वर्ड, पर देयर हैज बीन के यार इसको ऐसे नहीं, इसको ऐसे अप्रोच करते हैं. एंड आई एम मच हैप्पियर नाउ फ्लोइंग. तो अगर एक स्थिति थी जिसमें कि it was almost like a given, and I think there was in my colleague a great desire to somehow try and reverse it, change it, etc. And I was much happier with the maybe situation, and I was very alert कि कहीं ये ढीलापन तो नहीं है, and I was able to sort of check that out off. But anyway, the summary is that is that so maybe this too will pass are really the ways are the words that help very much in day-to-day life. But I'll pause briefly and request एनी ऑफ यू कि ये जो वर्क लाइफ में अगर ऐसी परिस्थितियां उठती हैं जो कि अपेरेंटली मैं जिस तरह से अप्रोच कर रहा हूं इसको फ्रॉम अ धम्मा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू और अन्य लोग जो हु आर परहैप्स इन अदर स्पेसेस, how does one reconcile these? And I know it's an abstract question, but if anybody has any experience, it will be very useful for me, particularly at this point.
So I think I've been in some office situations where things became really muddled with my righteous coming in conflict with other person trying to do something, and then what struck me was that why to take it personally? Let things happen in more harmonious way, and whatever will be the outcome will be the outcome. Why really fight it that way, that what I am saying is right and what other person is saying is wrong? So I think just remembering Ajahn Sumedho's phrase, don't take it personally, it sort of gives a space where you can operate.
And I remember, in our initial discussions, there were some with Darsar, Raman especially got really inspired by this comment from Darsar when he said that, who said the word is fair? Why do we expect it to be fair all the time? It is what it is. It's just that when we put an expectation on the word outside us, that gives us the suffering. So I find that very powerful way to allow bringing the acceptance first and then action. Because if it is the other way around, then our actions would be coming a lot more from the desire to correct it. But if we just accept it that this is the way it is, and then the natural action will come, that what should I do in this situation, and that will come from the I would say natural intelligence. Intelligence is already there in us, in mind, body, and the natural intelligence will guide us what is the best next step in those conventional circumstances, and we just work on that. So
I don't work. I no longer work.
Sir, but then the situations will still be there.
No. Work conflict तो नहीं है ना. I have no.
But you will, I think about, maybe Arpan was saying that there are still various circumstances where you find other people not operating from a dhammic perspective.
I know that. Now, as you said, I know that people are different. People are different, and so they will work. Some people have still in family this feeling कि उसको अच्छा काम, उसको बेईमान ये नहीं करना चाहिए, उसको इतना अपने माँ बाप का ख्याल रखना चाहिए कि नहीं रखते हैं, बच्चे लोग ऐसे हो गए हैं, संसार ऐसा है. आप जो कर सकते हैं करिए, नहीं कर सकते तो ठीक है. What can we do? So to expect righteous behavior is non-acceptance. वर्क लाइफ में डेफिनेटली आप लोगों को दिक्कत तो आती है.
उसमें दरअसल वास्तव में जो डिसीजन मेकिंग सिचुएशंस होती है ना, उनमें आप इस लेंस से देखें स्थिति को या उस लेंस से देखें. आई थिंक दैट्स द वन दैट आई हैव एनकाउंटर्ड. एंड
प्रॉब्लम ज्यादा ये होती है दैट वी एक्सपेक्ट दैट एवरीथिंग शुड एंड इन अ वेरी गुड थिंग. We have a strong attachment to the outcome of the work, and we think कि जिस तरह से मैं सोच रहा हूँ उसी तरह से ठीक होगा, नहीं तो ठीक नहीं होगा. और दूसरे के करेंगे तो बहुत बारी वो हो जाएगा. सो अनलेस इट इज ए लाइफ थ्रेटनिंग सिचुएशन, ऐसे ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत नुकसान भी होने देना. Because if you are in a situation where your friend or your very dear colleague is involved and he says you do this and you think quite confidently कि वैसा करेंगे तो नुकसान हो जाएगा. So if it is not a situation which will destroy your company or work, let it happen. थोड़ा बहुत नुकसान होने दो. The other friend of yours will learn and then in the long run you will be better off. So that fear of something going wrong quite often prevents us from accepting the other point of view. वो भी सोचने की जरूरत है.
This is definitely very profound because the same happens at home also.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
घर में थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता है.
And as children grow, you have a very serious problem, you know, when children grow and they ask you to do this and you for sure or sure ऐसा करेगा तो नुकसान होगा, इसको चोट लगेगी, इसको ये दिया तो इससे जरूर एक्सीडेंट होगा. You have to decide, leave it. होगा तो फिर देख लेंगे, इसकी सेवा कर लेंगे, इसकी कोई बात. Let go. Otherwise we get into real trouble, you know. We have to be prepared कि भाई नुकसान भी होता है संसार जीवन में, कोई बात नहीं. नुकसान के कारण अगर कुछ लाइफ थ्रेटनिंग हो तो तब रोक देना चाहिए, बिकॉज देन इट इज इरिट्रीवेबल. अदरवाइज ठीक है, थोड़े बहुत हो जाएगा नुकसान तो कोई बात नहीं है. 1000-2000 रुपए नुकसान हो जाएंगे, एक आध दिन डिले हो जाएगा, एक आध कस्टमर से डांट पड़ जाएगी, कोई बात नहीं. मेरा साथी जो है वो तो सीख लेगा इसी प्रोसेस में, या मैं सीख लूंगा, क्या मालूम. सो आई थिंक दैट इज आई हैव फाउंड इट वर्कड pretty fine, because in my work life also, everybody's work life, you know, very serious situations sometimes. We executed projects, and in projects you get into real complications, especially when you execute it with government sector and politicians involved and ministers involved and secretaries involved. They make your life a hell. थोड़ा बहुत लॉस के लिए, you know, you can, वो एक स्टेटमेंट है ना उनकी, मैं पहले भी कोट की थी, किसी की है शायद, रॉडनी ने कहा था, Do you want to be right or you want to be free? That's a very powerful statement to remember.
So this is a comment from Ram. There is actually a joke with some truth in it. The best CEO to hire for a startup is someone who has already failed at least 5 times.
Good one.
In fact, I think what I have found has happened now is that even while I'm able to perceive that there is a difference in how I'm viewing it and how the other person is viewing it, and therefore जो भी हमें mutual decision लेना है वो दो अलग approaches के बीच में फंसा हुआ है. I think what's shifted is that I no longer have the strong need that it only has to be the way I am thinking, you know, and so there is almost like a receding of the pushiness that was there. I think that's one thing I've noticed and observed. ये भावना अवश्य उठती है कि यार यही सही तरीका है, but the way I now do it is to place my perspective and view in front and then let it be. That's how I've started doing it. और उसमें ये ईगो जरूर उठती है, मन जरूर ये उठ के कहता है कि यार अब तू तो हर बारी वो हो जाएगा, दब जाएगा, so to say. That's the mental voice that arises. And sometimes what I've noticed happens is that वो voice ऐसे arise होती है और उसका reaction इतना जल्दी हो जाता है before even one catches के यार ये तू तो दब जाएगा voice has arisen, and the reaction is not so much to the situation but to the fear of being doubled, you know. So that's been my experience.
वो कबीर जी का एक वो है, दोहा कहते हैं ना उसको, दोहा ही कहना चाहिए. इट्स ए वेरी प्रोफाउंड वन ना. लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन fully recall it. कबीरा हारा ही भला, जीतन दे संसार. हारा तो हरि से मिले, जीता यम की दार. You get it?
Yes, Darshan, yeah, sure.
We can say such things. Profound, you know, profound situation. अच्छा, कर दो. Ram, you understand Hindi or no? You like it to be translated? Just ask him.
लिख रहा है ऊपर. हाँ.
कर दो. कबीर से मैं बोल देता हूँ, आप टाइप कर दो. अच्छा, हिंदी में बोल दो. इंग्लिश में बोल दो. So the meaning is that Kabir is saying that I am happy to be the loser and let the world win. If I am the loser, I'll get the God, and if I keep on winning, I'll get the death. I'll enter the realm of death again and again. So it has a strong message that the strengthening of ego, of winning again and again, will keep me in the cycle of birth and death. If I submit my ego, accept losing every time, I'll eventually get out of this suffering. So it's absolutely against the modern way of thinking, if I may use that word. Of course, you should not tell it to your boss. It should not be shared with the boss. There will be problems.
Not tell to your kids also.
Yeah, that's right. You know, these are things suitable for people who are crazy, not for normal people. अब किसी को कहो कबीरा हाल ही बोला था, कबीर ही कहते थे, पागल था भैया, तभी उसको कोई जेल में डाल कुछ कर देता था. You know, he was in prison also.
He was in prison?
He told the king something. King invited him and he gave me a real discourse. मैं अंदर कर दो इसको. It is really marvelous.
In fact, the reaction I have now sometimes started getting is कि यार तू ऐसा ही है, तेरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
Yeah, because you don't like to lose, no? We don't like to lose, that is the issue. We have a strong tendency to be on the winning side, you know. मैच होता है तो कोई लूजर के लिए तारीफ थोड़ा हो जाता है.
Okay.
So the modern world is wanting to go opposite to the stream, you see. So if you are going opposite to the stream, तो दिक्कत तो आने वाली है ना. You'll have to face the resistance of the stream. क्या करोगे तुम? अब तुमको मुझे अपोजिट भी जाना है और मेरी स्ट्रीम भी बड़ी स्मूथ होनी चाहिए, तो ये तो चलने वाला नहीं है भाई. स्ट्रीम ही तुम्हारी डायरेक्शन उल्टी डायरेक्शन में चलने लगे, ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता. वो तो ऊपर से नीचे ही जाएगी. वो तो हिमालय से बे ऑफ बंगाल ही जाएगी, उसका कोई चारा नहीं है. तुम्हें अगर हिमालय जाना तो स्ट्रीम के रेजिस्टेंस को ओवरकम करना ही पड़ेगा, कोई चारा नहीं है उसमें. So you have to decide which way you want to flow. क्यों, ठीक है?
Yes.
And I noticed that's one of the one other thing that happens sometimes is that ये जो flow against the stream वाली बात है and the circumstances that it creates, sometimes I think it also creates strong aversion and therefore those thoughts, those ideas कि यार सब बेकार है, इसको छोड़ दो, etc. You know, that perhaps that's also where that comes from.
Yeah, you're right. One has to have that strong conviction, no? So probably you have not suffered enough to push you in the other opposite direction so strongly that you don't even think of the other. And it's not really, it's a matter of understanding. You know, there is a संत होते थे स्वामी शरणानंद जी. I don't know आप लोगों ने नाम सुना होगा कि नहीं. यहाँ वृंदावन में थे वो. He became blind at the age of 5 and he is a self-enlightened person, the real sense of the term. You know, he had no education and तो उनकी वो एक बार उनको प्रवचन दे रहे थे. अच्छा, I'll speak in English. So there was a saint in Vrindavan long back. Long means about 100 years back, by the name Sharanand, Swami Sharanand. He became blind at the age of 5. And then of course there's a whole story of how he became enlightened to whatever extent we can say. I don't know that, but I have been deeply influenced by his discourses. I used to listen long back. There was a discourse in which one of his devotees, he says, see Swamiji, you are such a great renunciate, you just wear one cloth only, but you see we have family, we have to take care of things, and how can we be renunciate, how can we give up anything, you know, it's giving up. I can give up say 50 rupees, 100 rupees, we can't give up anything. He says, no, I'm not a renunciate. The Swamiji replies, I am not a renunciate, you are the real renunciate. He says, what? How can I be a renunciate? I am not giving anything, you are living like just in one cloth you live. You see, he says, what does renunciation mean? When you give up something very valuable, that is called renunciation. So, I have not given up, I have given up things which are more useless. You have given up most valuable thing in the world. So you are a great renunciate. I bow to you. I bow to your renunciation. You are such a great renunciate. So he tells him, you know, if you give up a big jewel, then you are a great renunciate. I have given up only stones. So once you have that understanding, then you don't have to apply pressure on yourself to go against the stream, in fact. Then you realize that this stream is going to take me to the stage of Yamuna in the modern times. The Yamuna you see near this Okhla or wherever you want to see.
You can't see.
So that is the stream actually which is running. So once you see a stream to aisi hai, you know, this is this nature of stream of Yamuna, so better walk on the bank and go upstream.
Rishi, what was the name of Swamiji sir is talking about?
Swami Sharananand.
And Ram has a question. Please feel free to speak in Hindi. I can speak fluently. Maybe Kabir Doha was a bit stretched.
Achha.
I love to hear the Hindi.
Okay. Good. Sharananandji's discourses are profound, you know, and what is amazing is he didn't study beyond 5 class, and he did desire to study, but he couldn't. So one saint told him, the knowledge does not come from reading. You just sit in the temple and pray, God will give you knowledge. And you know, such a young boy at the age of 10 or 8, I think, he just sat and waited. It's an amazing thing, you know. And his profundity of knowledge was so much that he is probably the only saint invited by Indian Council of Philosophical Research to address them on what is the Indian philosophy.
That everybody else is reading.
That we are studying and teaching people, please come and share.
And we are trying to struggle with and find out what is it.
And since he was blind, you know, he didn't realize that he is not putting on any clothes.
Oh.
So then one of his devotees, she was a professor of psychology, उसने कहा स्वामी you have not put on any clothes, please put something. Okay, he said okay ला दो तो मैं पहन लेता हूँ.
So now
His life is amazing. He had this might interest you, Arpan. He had 24 heart attacks.
24
Heart attacks.
heart attack. 24.
So doctor, firstly when he had heart attack, he would lie down. Doctor would come, heart attack, serious problem. Hospital ले चलो नहीं मैं जहाँ मंदिर में ठीक हूँ मुझे कहीं नहीं जाना. He'll get up, एक हो गया, दो हो गया, तीन हो गए, फिर डॉक्टर ने आना ही बंद कर दिया. छोड़. There's no point in going to स्वामी जी. वो तो ना मानते ना करते मरते भी नहीं है.
I feel medical science fail. He said, I feel much better already.
Good, good.
So Ram has a comment. If in one of the articles, Bhikkhu Bodhi says that just as in nature, laws of physics in spiritual field also, swimming against the stream generates spiritual energy of its own.
Yeah, subtle. That's how people survive with the tough job, isn't it? See what Buddha survived? Oh my God. Amazing thing. Just his conviction, and he mortified himself to the extent, there is a discourse where he mentions, I touched my belly and it will reach the spine. In the discourse he is mentioning that.
During his ascetic
During his ascetic days. And he had almost, people used to say, he's dying, he's dead. And then Mara would come to him, you're dying, come on, eat now. Go. Stop all this funny thing. Do some yajna and get some merit.
Sir, when I was referring to ये सब छोड़ दो, I was referring more to the monasticism वाले discussions that I've had with you. तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ऐसी परिस्थिति में in my experience, in my case, there is that sense of aversion that arises with the mundane, with day-to-day life, and that's when वो वाला instinct काफी strong होता है. That's what I'm saying actually. And I think therefore the need to be alert कि वो जो motivation है, as you had yourself helped me understand, is that arising out of aversion or is it arising out of something real? So that मैं उसका जिक्र कर रहा था basically.
जी जी. Good.
Ram is just writing something. I'm waiting for that, and then I'll continue. Anyway,
I hope nobody tells what we do with this book.
Ramasin, can you please elaborate on the motivations? I'm not sure to whom he's saying this. Maybe Arpan.
Arpan is saying it to me because we have had private discussions on this issue. Once one is fed up with the world, that is, whether it is true disenchantment or whether it is aversion, is very difficult to find out. That is the real issue. So, if one becomes a monk out of aversion, sure enough, he will become a householder after 1 year, out of aversion from being a monk. So to become a monk in the true sense of the term is when you have real disenchantment. So you are not getting averse to the world, you are realizing its futility and you are not tempted by it any longer. Let me use that word. You are not tempted by the world any longer and you are not averse to it at all. You see the people and yourself as having suffered a lot, and out of if you know, the ideal is the Buddha himself. He didn't go out to the world out of aversion. I mean, he had hardly any reason to be averse. He had a nice life. He went out of compassion for himself and for his family and others. See, people are suffering, let me do something. Now that's the kind of motivation which will be sustaining in a difficult life of a monk. And I've seen so many people, who went and became monk out of aversion and then after a few years came back. There's nothing wrong in it. As an experience it is good, but we're just discussing what is the motivation behind the action. Apparently very noble action like becoming a monk. Isn't that, Arpan, what you implied?
That's bilkul. That was exactly what it was. And what I was sharing was that when this flowing against the stream, especially in a work environment, you see, especially because in our work, we believe, we feel कि भैया ये तो अलग है औरों से, and we are really doing it for its own sake and so forth. उसमें भी जब
you have a noble work, na?
कम से कम
So that doing a noble work, doing social service is always has its own plus and minus points. No?
बिल्कुल तो
It
उसमें
creates
जब
a self-righteousness बहुत ज़्यादा हो सकती संभावना रहती है ना उसमें.
और उसमें भी जब
बाकी सब तो बस पैसे कमा रहे हैं, कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो सब मेटीरियलिस्टिक हैं, हम तो स्पिरिचुअल हैं, हम तो एनिमल्स के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, उनकी सेवा कर रहे हैं. So now that kind of a feeling creates a lot of self-righteousness.
बिल्कुल दादा बिल्कुल. और वैसी परिस्थिति में जब ये फ्लो अगेंस्ट द स्ट्रीम होता है या देयर इज वर्क situation conflict or even if not conflict because that's been another experience which maybe I'll share briefly, but if there is a difference in how you view the world, I think that's when this sense of aversion is quite high. So that was really the background to what I was saying. And I think this week, again, I don't think there was any conflict. I think what happened was that हम लोग, the way I'm viewing it, particularly from this non-judgment maybe wala issue, and how others are viewing situations are different. And so in my mind, the maybe was very strong throughout the week. That's how all of this came up basically.
Good.
There was also very interesting. There was another situation this week, and I think it's almost providential कि हमने ये presence वाला पढ़ा था New Earth में, where Eckhart speaks about being intensely present. So there was a situation. I'll narrate it to the extent that I'm comfortable with it. That there was another colleague who was giving me a lot of feedback on what aspects of my behavior upset that person, and and really strong sort of it was a very charged situation, almost emotionally charged situation, and I think it's so helpful to remain, to use Eckhart's phrase, intensely present. And it's very interesting. What happened was that this venting went on for quite some time, and it almost sort of came a full circle with the other person saying, in fact, that, well, that almost seems to be the nature of life. And there were very few interventions that I made. I mean, I was consciously being silent, resisting the temptation to respond or repartee or whatever, react, whatever, And I think it was a very intense experience for myself also, but very deeply but this whole being intensely present was extremely helpful in this situation. I mean there were small reactions here and there, but it was extremely helpful. And I think this time I learned also the distinction of outward non-reaction and also in the mind, because I was also observing, I was also being very conscious कि मन, क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है कि बाहर से कोई कुछ दे रहा है और हम उसको apparently तो प्रतिक्रिया नहीं कर रहे हैं, verbally नहीं कर रहे, but the mind is constantly तीर चला रहा है. This time that's also something that I was very conscious about. And I think कुछ तीर चले पर कुछ कम भी चले, with very strong I would say very strong effort actually. कुछ तीर चले but कुछ कम भी चले. So again something that I thought is something I'd like to share really with everybody.
Very good, very good. Yeah. It's very good. When you are mindful, or present as you're saying, then naturally the reactions will be lesser. And if the presence is strong, it will impact the other person also. If the other person also knows how to be present, then the real harmony emerges from such interaction. The real harmony comes out of strong disagreements. When you have strong disagreements, people are strong-headed and open, and then they share in a space of presence, then the result would be ultimately deep harmony, because both the people will be able to see through their own contribution to disharmony. So I think that's a very humbling experience. Good.
Yeah. I think this is when I really experienced. वो उसने एक स्टोरी सुनाई थी ना, in this book Eckhart narrates the story of that woman who came to his house and was saying something to him about whatever she was saying, and then he remained. So I think this was a really good experience. But I also noticed something, and I think that requires further work. What I noticed was that there was a subtle sense of क्या कहेंगे उसको, superiority जो कि पीछे चल रही थी थोड़ी background में, almost to say कि यार ये तो ये बकवास हो रही है, and because I am so much superior, so I'll keep shut. ये एक बीच में मैंने पकड़ा था. This was there somewhere at the back also, and this was one of the occasions when the mental pratikriya kept coming even while the verbal one wasn't there. Even while for at least some time the mental pratikriya was silent. But I did notice this. So again something that I thought I'd share.
Very good. That shows you are becoming more and more mindful, more deeply mindful. That's very good. So give yourself a treat. तुम अपने आप को भी ट्रीट दिए तुमने?
ये आपने उसको एक बार पहले भी कहा था.
पहले भी कहा था तुमको शायद मैंने. अभी अपने को ट्रीट दे दो यार, तुमने इतना you have been so mindful, so you should give yourself a treat for it.
I think we have Eckhart and I think this company to thank for it. Really one of the things that I then also reflected is ये जो अपने Sunday sessions होते हैं, I think they are so valuable in keeping the anchor in place, and so also Eckhart and others, especially yourself, Darsab, that it's I think it's this company, वो कल्याण मित्र की जो आप बात करते हैं, it did come to me, it's just so valuable as we keep walking on the path.
And Arpan, I 100% maybe the less agree with you. I think these 3 years have been, I think, the most fulfilling years as far as understanding is concerned, for me at least. And this notion of that the Kalyan Mitra is not just the 50% but the 100% of what you need in spirituality is, I can see it validated in front of us than just in theory.
You are all, yes, I can see that. I have benefited a lot by you people, definitely. Rajesh is to be blamed or that, or what should I say? Praised or blamed, whichever way you take. Good, very good. So you are doing justice to Akhad, don't worry, he will be happy, not upset that we are stuck to his one page for weeks.
So Suresh is thanking you and all of us.
Good, so we'll break for tea. Thank you very much, Arpan. Your not coming has been as fruitful as your coming.
Thanks. I'll see you all next week then.
Yeah. Are there any questions or comments from
Suresh
and Ram, right? Right. There are 2 people. Right. Otherwise, we'll close the session. So, Suresh, I'll be off next 2 weeks. Sitting the Sati course.
Good, all the best. Wish you all the best. Will be available next week and then we will be off for 4 weeks. Rajesh is busy, so am I.
But for different reasons. Just one generation.
both for free today.
Yeah, so each generation
I'll be busy with my granddaughter and Rajesh will be busy with his child. So next will be, ask 23rd, no?
Right.
So on 30th of November we'll meet and then we'll meet on 4th of January. So December vacation for everybody.
Okay, see you in 2015.
Okay, all the best, Suresh.